TJ Watt suffered a pec injury on this play, and in this video, we're gonna take a closer look at what exactly happened. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Sutterer, and we're gonna be breaking down these football injuries all season. So if you enjoy looking at the mechanisms of these sports injuries and the underlying anatomy and sort of what happens, then be sure and subscribe to stay up to date with my future videos. The injury occurs here as Watt is trying to bring Burrow down to the ground. Remember, it's his left side, and so here you can see we've got our anatomy picture showing where that pec tendon inserts onto the humerus or the upper arm bone. So imagine just like when you're bench pressing and we see pec ruptures, that humerus gets brought backwards into extension. As it comes backwards when you're doing a bench press, that pec and tendon are being eccentrically loaded, meaning they're being stretched and lengthened while they're also trying to fire. So here with Watt, as he's bringing Burrow down to the ground, that left arm gets put backwards into extension here in this position, and it's trying to fire and contract at the same time to bring Burrow down and force that arm back across into adduction, which is what the pec muscle is trying to do. When Watt first makes contact, because he's rolling and falling off to the ground, the only way that he can bring Burrow down is by adducting that left arm across his body to force Burrow downwards. But Watt keeps falling down to the ground, that humerus gets brought further back into extension, eccentrically loading the pec and ultimately leading to the injury. Focusing on our Biodigital anatomy tool here, understand that there's two pec muscles. There's the pectoralis major and then the pectoralis minor, which sits deep behind the pec muscle and really is not something we worry about getting specifically injured. The pec major itself, though, comes out and inserts over on the humerus or the upper arm bone. So we think of it as a shoulder injury, sometimes a chest injury, but it really doesn't insert up on the ball of the shoulder joint. It's further down along the arm bone. There also are two heads to the pec major. There's a clavicular head and a sternal head. The clavicular head is this upper portion that originates off of, you guessed it, the clavicle, and the sternal head is the part that originates off of the sternum. You can see too how there's this unique sort of corkscrewing, looping shape to the tendon as it comes down to insert onto the bone. And what you end up with is actually this sort of U-shaped tendon footprint between those clavicular heads and the sternal heads as they anchor onto the humerus. The prognosis here depends entirely on if this is a full or a significant rupture of the tendon inserting onto the bone versus just a strain of the muscle, because you can have a pec muscle strain, just like a hamstring strain or a quad strain, which is going to be a much more minor injury compared to the full tendon injury, tendon coming off of the bone, or significant tendon tear. If this is a tendon rupture or a major tendon injury, those require surgery for an athlete like Watt, and that's going to be season ending. But if this is more an injury up in the muscle itself and does not involve the tendon, that is something that would not be season ending, and he would likely come back somewhere on the order of weeks to months or so. Expect an MRI to look at the full extent here, and this is something that if it is significantly torn, surgery needs to be done quickly before that tendon retracts higher up into the chest. That's it for the video, everybody. Let me know as always any questions or comments down below, and until next time, we'll see you later.